What's up, YouTube? Tonight's video is my video game pickups for the month of December 2015. And to start this off, I wanted to show a new arcade board I got for my collection this month. And that is Captain America and the Avengers, a classic arcade beat 'em up from Data East from 1991. So I thought I'd show you a little footage of that. And then after the jump cut, we will go on with the rest of my console pickups. See you in a few moments. And welcome back. So first we're going to start off with Nintendo systems for the games I picked up this month. I want to show some Super Nintendo games I got, and really I got some nice finds for Super Nintendo this month after having several dry months the last few months. So let's go ahead and go into these. The first one of these I got is Gods. This game is kind of a strange European developed action puzzle type game, I guess I could say. A little bit of strategy as well. I've played this game on the Genesis before, and probably the Super Nintendo version's a little bit better, so glad to have that. The other loose card I got for Super Nintendo is The Mask. Never really was a fan of this movie, but for some reason this game is somewhat rare for the Super Nintendo. It came out, I guess, as one of the later releases, after maybe the movie's popularity had waned, so kind of nice to have that. The rest of these all have at least the manual. So the next thing I got was 3 games that came with the manual and the case, or just a replacement case, I should say. First one of these is Time Tracks, and I've heard this game is a kind of an average run and gun. I haven't had a chance to try it yet. It was based on a very short-lived TV series that probably nobody remembers. Really unusual that this got a licensed game, but it did, and kind of an obscure one for the Super Nintendo, so looking forward to trying it out. The next one of these I got is Metal Morph. Very strange, kind of a run and gun as well, but you can morph into a blob of liquid metal to go through drains and things like that. Yeah, I don't know. Very strange game. There's even some kind of into-the-screen shooting sections of the game as well to break up the action, but they're really not that good. So, whatever. Kind of an average one there, but at least it came with the manual. And the last one of these is just kind of one of the many, many soccer games on the Super Nintendo. A little bit of a more obscure one, so I just picked it up because it was cheap and it came with the manual, and that is Elite Soccer. And the other 2 games I got for Super Nintendo are complete. The first one of these I'm not real excited about, but I decided to grab it because it was in really top condition, and that is Tetris 2. I have not played the Super Nintendo version of this, but I remember as a kid I got Tetris 2 for Christmas one year for the NES, and I was incredibly disappointed with it because, of course, I love Tetris. So unless this one is radically different, I can't imagine it's going to be that exciting to play. But that said, I got it now. The other one I got for Super Nintendo Complete, I'm way more excited about. This game was in mint condition. The guy that traded this in, along with several other games at this one game store, really took care of his stuff. Like, it almost looked like he'd never played it. So this was an upgrade for me. I had it loose before, and I decided I had to go for it complete just because I figured I'd never find one in this condition again. And that is The Peacekeepers by Jalico. This is part 3 in the Rushing Beat beat 'em up series in Japan, and in the US they all had separate titles. So there was Rival Turf, then Brawl Brothers, and then Peacekeepers. This one is much rarer than the other 2, I would say. The other thing that makes this game very unusual is it has no music. Apparently something went wrong in the conversion to the US version of that. I don't really understand the story on it, but as you play it, there are just sound effects. No music whatsoever. It's really, really strange to play through with that feature. Other than that, it is a pretty solid beat 'em up. It doesn't really have a lot of slowdown, and graphics are pretty good for a later release beat 'em up. So if you're interested, check this game out. Really hard game to find complete, so yeah, really jazzed to have this in top-notch condition. Next I'll move on to the one GameCube game I got this month, and this is a game I've had the Japanese PS2 version of for several years. It's a very, very fun, oddball, quirky sort of sports game, and that is Ribbit King. In this game you play Frolf, which is frog golf, and you really don't hit the frogs with a golf club per se. You use a little mallet, which hits a little platform the frogs are on, which encourages them to jump. And then they don't necessarily fly through the air. They might stop and eat a fly along the way or jump on a lily pad. It's a really, really strange game, but a lot of quirky fun, and this is very obscure for the GameCube. It's also kind of unique because it comes with 2 discs. There's a little bonus disc included, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy to have a US version of this. I might actually sell my import PS2 version now. The next system I got a lot of games for this month is the Wii, and I feel like this is the time to jump on Wii games if there's anything out there that you're still looking for. GameStop seems to be on the cusp of discontinuing it, or at least blowing it out entirely. I visited several GameStop stores this month. They'd marked the games down. They were buy two, get one free. And I noticed that several of them were throwing away their cases like they'd done with the Nintendo DS games a few months back or a year ago or so. So, that being said, if you want to grab Wii games that are complete, you better hurry, because it seems like stocks are dwindling, and these are only going to be harder to find in the future. So let me go ahead and show you all the Wii games I got this month. The first one of these I actually didn't get at GameStop. I couldn't find it at one, and that is Gunslingers. This is a pretty obscure light gun game for the Wii. I was actually watching some video of it, and it looked pretty cool. I believe it's French developed, which is kind of unusual, but you can actually play 4-player light gun action on this, and kind of a cool thing. Has a Wild Wild West theme, as you can see, and you have all your stereotype characters here to play with, but yeah, pretty neat game, I think, and definitely an obscure one. There is a box set of this game also that comes with two revolver type things with the package that you can snap your Wiimote into, but I decided not to go for that version. So either way, it's very difficult to find. GameStop has this very cheap if your local store has it, so definitely worth looking for. The next one was a Sega game for the Wii that I was kind of curious about, and that is Let's Tap. Party game type thing with some interesting Wiimote tricks, and figured it's kind of an obscure Sega game, so definitely worth a look. Again, very, very cheap right now if you want to get it. Next one is kind of an obscure racing game for the system, and that's Trackmania. This came out on the DS as well, and maybe some other systems also, but the Wii version seems to be kind of difficult to find, and just kind of lucked into one of these this month as well. Then is another futuristic racing style game that I was interested in, and that is Vertigo. Looks to have very good graphics, actually. Basically, you just race a metal ball through a maze type of thing. This also supports the balance board, which I don't have one, but it might be interesting to see how that works out. So, don't think this is a very common one either. Then we have Dragon Quest Swords. Basically just got this because it was part of the buy two, get one free deal. Don't really know a whole lot about it. Then we have the Nights into Dreams remake for the Wii. I don't know. I mean, I'm a big Saturn fan. I wasn't a huge Nights fan, so I didn't buy this when it came out. But definitely for the buck or two it goes for now, it's worth taking a look. Then I got one that I felt looked rare to me because I'd never seen it, so don't know if I'm going to play this one, but that is Summer Stars 2012. Loosely based on the Olympics, I take it, and a variety of events that you can play. Then I got one that seems to be pretty difficult to find, and that is Final Fantasy Fables Chocobo's Dungeon. So more of the Chocobo Dungeon action that you had on the PlayStation, if you've ever played those games. Then another light gun game, that is Mad Dog McCree, the Gunslinger Pack. This one has Mad Dog McCree, Mad Dog 2, and also the Bounty Hunter, which I believe was unavailable on consoles until now. So definitely worth a look. These are incredibly cheesy Laserdisc arcade games originally, and they preserved all the original video for that, so if you want to laugh at your Wii, this is definitely a good one to check out for that. Then I got the first-party game, Excitebots Trick Racing. Don't really know a whole lot about this, but it was like $2, so thought I'd take a chance. And the last one I got for the Wii is Geometry Wars Galaxies. Really cool reflective package on this one, and looks to be a pretty neat game. I remember it was, I believe, part of the racing series Project Gotham Racer. It was like a little side game that they included with it. So now they've expanded it and made it a full Wii release, and yeah, looks to be pretty cool, based on, I guess, Asteroids, the old arcade game. So that is everything I got for Nintendo systems this month. Next, I'm going to show you a couple games I got for the TurboGrafx-16. As we all know, TurboGrafx games are getting more and more difficult to find every day, but these were two that I was really looking for, and I'm excited to have them. The first one of these is one of the last Working Designs releases I needed, and that is Kadash. This was originally a Taito arcade game, and I do have it on several other consoles. I have the arcade version on Japanese PS2, and I also have the Sega Genesis port of this game, but I figured I might as well get it for TurboGrafx, and it's kind of cool that it supports the Turbo Multitap as well. So nice to have that off the Working Designs list, and a cool Taito game to add to the collection as well. The other one I got for TurboGrafx is a loose card, and I really hate having loose Hue cards in my collection, but I've already actually taken care of part of that. I'm going to show you the card today, but I have a original box for this game coming in the way, and if I can get the original manual for this game, I'll be in good shape. So that is Utopia 2. This is a game I was really looking forward to playing, and it's very difficult to find, so I figured I might as well just at least grab it now. Basically, if you haven't played the Utopia series games, there's part 1 and 2 on the TurboGrafx. They are like sequels to the original Legend of Zelda on NES. I mean, they look almost exactly the same and play the same, just with some mildly improved graphics and obviously different characters. Very cool action RPGs if you like that style of game, and definitely recommended series. And really, like I said, I was just excited to play the second one because I've had the first one for years. So, like I said, I'll have a box for this soon, and it'll look a lot better, but very excited to have this in my Turbo collection. Then I got one game for the original Xbox this month, and this seems to be one of the rarest games on the original Xbox. This was a very late release. It came out on multi-platforms, but for some reason the Xbox version is much rarer, and that is Teen Titans, the DC Comics TV series. So, don't really know if I'll be playing this one much, but very nice to have it, just because it seems to be one of the few Xbox games that goes for a decent amount of money, and maybe in the future it'll be even more than that, so nice to have that. Next, I'm going to go into some Sony systems. So, the Sony systems I didn't really buy as much this month. I got a few games for the PS1 and PS2. The first one of these is a fighting game, and that is Killing Zone. This was a early release, in jewel case at least, and it was actually Japanese developed by Naxxit Soft. Naxxit Soft made a ton of great Genesis and PC Engine games in the past. This was kind of toward their dying days, and they started to make the transition to 3D fighting games. Not a very good one at that, and I think that's why Acclaim really didn't print a whole lot of these for the US. So, kind of an obscure one for the PS1, but not really a great game. Then we have another fighting game that I really don't see this game very much. It's also very difficult to Google because the title is so generic, and that is Versus. This was also Japanese developed by a developer called Polygon Magic. It has a interesting mix of ghetto and street characters in it, is what they were going for. There's a pimp character, there's a raver girl. I mean, it's very 90s in its execution. This was kind of the precursor to a Japanese-only PS1 game called Slap Happy Rhythm Busters that I've owned before. And it's a decent fighter, kind of generic, but probably the cast is the most unique thing about this game. I don't see this one on PS1 very much, so I decided to grab it, and yeah, that's Versus. Like I said, very hard to Google this title. Next is a Koei game, but it's actually a fighter as well, and that is Destrega. It's one I haven't played yet, but I've heard it's a decent fighting game, and kind of unusual that Koei was making a fighter at this time. It was probably one of their first ones they ever developed, so nice to have that. And the last one I just bought because it's one I don't see, it's nothing special I'm sure, and that is Eliminator. This is a early 3D arena combat type of game. So, yeah. I'm kind of grabbing anything unique and oddball for the PS1 at this point, just because it seems like the selection of PS1 games is really drying out over the last year. Next I'm going to show you some PS2 games I got this month, and the first one of these is Ribbit King. Yes, I also got it for the PS2. Completely unintentional, but I found a really good deal on this and I couldn't pass it up. And then I later found the GameCube version, which I was even more excited to find, so this one I might sell as well. So now I have the Japanese version of this, US version, and the US GameCube version of this game. However, great game, and also pretty obscure on the PS2. So nice to have it on that system as well. The next one of these is one that Crack Lotus tipped me off on. I'd never really heard of this game before, and maybe I'd seen it, but I didn't really think it was anything that interesting. It turns out it is developed by the same person that developed Deadly Premonition, which is a very cool game, and that is Spy Fiction. I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but I'm looking forward to it, and definitely an unusual one for the PS2. So nice one to add to the collection. You can also get this game very, very cheap. I also discovered the Japanese PS2 version of this after I bought it for the US PS2, and the cover on it is infinitely better. So if you like cover art, highly recommend getting the Japanese version of this game as well. The last one I got for PS2 this month is another RPG that I probably won't play because I'm getting such a backlog of them, and that is Monokemia 2. Got a good price on this one, so I couldn't really pass it up. Seems to be a pretty late release for the PS2, and I don't see it often, so decided to grab it, but again, due to my backlog, don't know when I'll ever get a chance to try this. Alright, so next let's move into the Sega systems I got games for this month. I got one game for the Master System, and it's a pretty cool one. That is a complete copy of Lord of the Sword. Always wanted to try this game out, and looks pretty cool based on the graphics on the back, so we'll hopefully get a chance to try this very soon. I got a few games for the Genesis this month. All of these are complete. A couple of these were upgrades from prior copies. The first one of these I got is Super Off-Road, and this is an upgrade. This is a super mint copy of this game. It even came with like the trading cards that came with this, advertising the other games that Ballistic put out. Came with the poster, the registration card, the manual, the cartridge in perfect condition, and the box is really nice, which is hard to find because it's in these paper boxes. So nice to have an upgrade of that. And the other thing I thought was cool about this is it had the original sales receipt in it from 1993. So I know that somebody paid $29.99 for this game. Next is another upgrade, and this one I added a manual to make it complete. So that is Hellfire, which is a very cool shooter, horizontal shooter by Toaplan. And don't really hear this one talked about too much, but it is actually a pretty cool game. Another upgrade I got, and this is a really mint copy of this game. I was super excited to find it because it's one of my favorites on the Genesis, and that is Space Invaders 91. I had a complete copy, but mine was really ratty, so I went ahead and sold that off, and saw this, and I had to grab it, so very nice to have that. Nice update on the Space Invaders series. If you watched my video about my complete renovation series collection that I finished this month, you'll know that I grabbed this game, and that is Arrow Flash. All I needed on this one was the manual as well. It was incredibly hard to find, so I ended up buying a whole new copy of the game. But very, very happy to have this. That renovation set was incredibly hard to complete, and very happy it's done, but a lot of great games in that series. Definitely check that video out if you haven't already, and you can find that in my other videos. And the last thing I got complete for the Genesis is Fantasia. I haven't really heard very good things about this game, but I like to collect the Sega Black Box original series first-party games, so decided to grab it, but I don't think I'll be playing this one too much. Alright, then I got one game for the Sega CD, and that is actually a game that I got on that Wii collection, and that is the original Mad Dog McCree. Light gun game, like I said, very grainy video, but hilarious video, and this was in really nice shape, and I now have Mad Dog and Mad Dog 2 for the Sega CD, so nice to have this. Then I got a couple games for the Game Gear. Both of these are X-Men games, and now I have all three. First one of these is X-Men Mojo World. This is actually the third game in the series. And the other one I got is X-Men Games Masters Legacy. Gotta make sure about that title. I haven't tried either one of these yet. Don't really think they'll be that great, but definitely nice to have. Complete set of the X-Men games on the Game Gear. Next I'll show you a few games I got for portable systems this month, and then that's really about it for the video. I'll show you a couple other things I got. I picked up a couple games for the original Game Boy for my collection for that set. First one of these is Skate or Die Tour de Thrash. This one you don't see very often, so I was happy to get it. I've been actually looking for this one pretty hard. Then I got a later release for the Game Boy, and that is Iron Man X-O Manowar. This game came out on just about every platform available in 1996, so it's not very good on other systems. I can't imagine the Game Boy one's going to hold up too well. Then I got the original RoboCop. And then I got a unusual puzzle game, which is Pyramids of Ra. So you see it has the Matchbox branding on it. I don't understand that whatsoever. There are no Matchbox cars in this whatsoever. It's just a quirky little puzzle game. Kind of decent playing. I got hooked on it a little bit, but yeah, very strange branding on that one. I got one game for the Game Boy Advance, and the reason I picked this one up is because it was in sealed condition. It was like $2. And that is X2 Wolverine's Revenge. Don't know if I'll open this one, but nice to have a sealed Game Boy Advance game. And then I got a couple games for the DS. I picked up Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor. Don't really play a lot of SMT games, so I don't really know anything about it, but I got a good price on it, so I decided to grab it. The other one I got for Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, is one that I've been looking for a really long time. It's impossible to find complete, it seems like. The European version of this is very easy to find, but the US version is very rare, and that is Gianna Sisters. I had to settle for a loose cartridge on this one for now, but if you've played Super Mario Bros. On the NES, this is essentially the exact same game. They just changed some characters and the artwork, but plays just about exactly the same as Super Mario Brothers. So pretty much a ripoff, but it actually is kind of fun and definitely worth checking out, especially if you can find it complete. So nice to have that off my DS list. So that is all the games I got for this month. I do want to show the other thing I got this month, and that is a big stack of manuals for several games. Not a whole lot of great stuff in here, but I decided that I have a lot of manuals for my complete NES set, so I might go for all the manuals. I'm definitely not going for all the boxes. That's just way too difficult, but I have a pretty good head start on manuals. So let me show you the stack of stuff I got this month. I got a few manuals for other systems as well. I'm going to show those first. First one of those is No Escape for the Super Nintendo. Don't really care about that one too much. And then I got a manual for a title game I really like, and that is On the Ball. Very interesting spin the screen type puzzle action game. A lot of fun. I got a map for Final Fantasy Legend. It's actually kind of a poster and a map for the Game Boy release. Didn't even know there was a map for this game, so I was happy to have that. I got another poster. I don't know if I can fold this out, but it is for Exo Squad on the Genesis. Kind of a cool game. I thought I had it complete, but it turns out there was a poster. Then, the rest of this is all NES manuals, so I will go through these pretty quickly. If you don't care about manuals, you can go ahead and tune the video out now, but I did want to show these. The first one of these I am very excited about. This one is a cool one, and that is Princess Tomato and the Solid Kingdom. Very obscure Hudson Soft game, and a lot of fun. Then I got a manual and map for Ultima Quest of the Avatar. Then one of the unlicensed games I got a manual for is F-15 City War. And the rest of these are pretty much just standard size manuals. So I have Short Order Explode, Eight Eyes, which is a cool Castlevania clone, Barbie, World Games, Winter Games, Win, Lose, or Draw, Where's Waldo, Super Team Games, John Elway's Quarterback, Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf, Iron Sword, Wizards and Warriors 2, Tiny Toon Adventures, Tetris 2, Track and Field 2, Destination Earthstar, Tag Team Wrestling, Wheel of Fortune Family Edition, Mario Brothers Duck Hunt World Class Track Meet, Bases Loaded 2, All Pro Basketball, Super Spike V-Ball, Town and Country Surf Designs, Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, Genghis Khan, RBI Baseball, the unlicensed version, and Wizardry. So yeah, like I said, quite a few manuals I got for the NES this month. I wanted to go ahead and show those, and that wraps up all my pickups for the month of December 2015. Please take a moment, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video, and have a great day or night wherever you are. I will talk to you soon.